Hi everyone, my name's Holly Mackay, I'm Managing Director of the Platforum, and I wanted to comment this week on two stories we've seen in the news. One from Sesame, teaming up with Henderson for an investment launch, and also announcing a tie-up with an Aussie wealth management firm called Iris. I vaguely remember from my days in Australia. Secondly, we've also had SimplyBiz signing a distribution deal with Prudential. And it really struck me, sometimes I think when you see two news stories come out together and you think about them as a whole, it kind of sparks off a train of thought. And for me, there was one really interesting thing in the news from these two big networks this week. Who's missing? The platforms. No mention of them in either announcement about future really important distribution strategy for these guys. Now, I think what we're seeing more broadly with the networks and some of the nationals is actually a return to vertical integration. We used to know vertical integration as the banks or the life companies, and basically it was a sort of posh consultant speak for saying we do everything ourselves. We then sort of moved into an open architecture era, probably 10 years ago, and people started saying, no, we're going to break down the components: distribution, i.e. IFAs, people who sell stuff, admin, and manufacturing, people that make stuff, fund managers. So they're three distinct streams. What we're seeing now and starting to see is actually coming full circle back to vertical integration, but it's the distributors in charge this time. It's the networks wanting to take control. What's determining this? Well, one of the factors that a lot of the networks tell me about is they're really worried about the new customer agreed remuneration post RDR. What happens to the orphan clients? Are they going to be able to phone up a platform and say, you know what, I don't want to deal with this financial advisor anymore, but I'd like to remain a client on the platform? The networks are really worried about this. They're also beginning to see, thanks to new sort of providers on the scene like Iris, well, hang on a moment, this new software does a bit of aggregation and it submits transactions. So I can build some sort of remuneration management system. I can link it into a web portal. I can use someone like Iris. Focus Solutions is another example to do this. I then connect in with various tax wrapper providers. So think back to SimplyBiz saying they're going to deal with the Pru this week. And we're doing the investment management piece, whether it's discretionary management or DIFs, distributor influence funds. And in that world and in that picture, what role do the platforms have? Well, it's really tiny. They're being really marginalised, and all of the good stuff that they've been busy building for the last 10 years is not wanted. And that is reducing them to a model where the services they are required for is akin to what Co-Funds Institutional is doing today. It's custody stuff, it's nominee stuff, and you can charge about 10 or 15 basis points tops for some of those services. So I think it's a bit of a wake-up call and a worry for the platforms. What I do think, though, is that there's going to be a clear demand from independent financial advisors moving forward for what I call a full-service wrap platform. And I think that'll come from the smaller regionals and some of the smaller IFA businesses out there. But it's no longer a given that the big networks and the big chunky distributors are actually going to want to jump into bed with the platforms. And I think if I were running a platform this week, that would really worry me. I would look at this landscape and go, I'm being marginalised in this equation. I'm not really comfortable about that. And actually the biggest competition is coming from some of these new software firms. I think platforms have maybe become a bit smug, a bit self-congratulatory. They think they sort of climbed to the top of the life company mountain and sort of stuck the flag in of the future there and said, you know, we are the way of the future. I think platforms are, but it doesn't necessarily mean the current incumbents with the current operating models they have. So two really interesting bits of news, I think, from the networks, from SimplyBiz and Sesame in particular this week. We'll be watching moving forward to see how it pans out. Let us know if you find this sort of video useful. We want to comment much more frequently on the news and what's going on. That means we don't have a long turnaround time, hence no posh editing and shaky cam, but let us know what you think. Apologies for the awful presentation style, but if you want to club together and send me to drama school, that would be terrific. Bye.